Students, today I will do the revision of the chapter, that is the first chapter, reproduction in organisms. First, what is reproduction? Reproduction is the process, biological process in which the organisms produces the offspring of its same kind or of its own kind or similar to itself. Now, reproduction are of two types. One is asexual reproduction, second is sexual reproduction. Asexual reproduction and sexual reproduction, I will do the difference and which I have written on the board. Please go through the board. I am discussing one by one all the points. You please note it down in your copy. Now look at the board. So chapter is reproduction in organisms. There are two types of reproduction. One is asexual reproduction, second is sexual reproduction. Asexual reproduction, only one parent is involved. Only one individual is used as a parent. But in sexual reproduction, two individuals are used as parent. So two individuals are involved. In case of asexual reproduction, no sex organs are involved. No sex organs. Here, the two types of sex organs are involved, male sex organs and female sex organs. Here, in asexual reproduction, the individual does not produce any gamete. But in sexual reproduction, they produce gametes, male, female gametes. Gametes means, sperm, ovum. But here, they do not produce any gametes. In asexual reproduction, there is no meiosis, no reductional division. So the chromosome number remain unchanged. So the number of chromosomes remain unchanged. No meiosis takes place. No reduction of the chromosome numbers reduced into half. But in case of sexual reproduction, number of chromosomes becomes half in the gamete than that of the parent cell. So reduced into half. Here, asexual reproduction, no fertilization is involved. No fertilization takes place. Fertilization means fusion of male and female gamete is not there. But in sexual reproduction, fertilization takes place, means the fusion of male and female gamete occurs. Next, offsprings are morphologically and genetically similar to that of the organism. So they are called clones. So in asexual reproduction, individual forms clones. Genetically and morphologically they are similar. But here in sexual reproduction, they are not similar to their parents. So they are called hybrids. Better we can say they are the hybrids. Next, asexual reproduction takes place in protozoans, sponges, but sexual reproduction takes place in the higher organisms. But there are some protozoans, this is an exception, there are some protozoans where sexual reproduction we can see. They are the Plasmodium, where sexual reproduction can be seen, Monocystis and Trypanosoma. So in these three cases, they are the protozoans but where sexual reproduction takes place. So question can come in section A, 1 marks answers. What are clones? So clones are the morphologically and genetically similar copy of an organism in which protozoans sexual reproductions can be seen. Then the answers will be Plasmodium, Monocystis or Trypanosoma. Then where meiosis occurs, where meiosis does not occur, where the clones are produced, in which reproduction, fertilization takes place. So this type of question can come from this part. In my next video, I will tell you the mode of asexual reproduction. Okay, thank you. Now, mode of asexual reproduction. In unicellular organism, cell division itself is a mode of asexual reproduction. Now look at the board to see the different modes of asexual reproduction. Modes of asexual reproduction. Now fission. Fission is divided into binary fission. In fission, the organism divides into two or more parts. They are of following types. binary fission. In binary fission, in this process, the parent organism divided into two halves. Binary means two, divided into two halves. Each half receives the equal genetic material. Now, binary fission are of three types: simple binary fission, transverse binary fission, and longitudinal binary fission. Simple binary fission, here the plane of division passes through any direction. That is in case of amoeba. So simple binary fission takes place in amoeba. You can see in that board, look at that board, one organism dividing into two. First nuclear material is dividing, then cytoplasmic division, and ultimately from one organism two new organisms are developing, and here the plane of division passes through any direction. That is simple. Now transverse, this one, transverse binary fission, when the direction of division of plane is in the transverse axis, in the paramecium. Now see both these one individual is first nuclear division through the transverse axis and producing ultimately two paramecium, two new individuals. Next, this one, longitudinal binary fission. When the direction of binary plane coincides with longitudinal axis, then longitudinal division shown in euglena. Next is, after fission, next is budding. Budding, in this process, the parent organism produces small projections out of its body. Small projections out of its body, they are called bud. The bud grows in size and separate from the parent body. Example, hydra, yeast, sponges. From this chapter, this part, not this chapter, from this part, small one-word question comes. Give example of longitudinal binary fission. Give examples of budding in hydra. Give example of fission like this. Okay, so you go through these examples. So examples are hydra, yeast, and sponge. Now look at this board. Budding in yeast. This is yeast. One parent yeast. First nuclear is dividing, and bud is forming small growth of the body on the parent body. Then after nuclear division, nucleus is going into the new organisms and ultimately producing two attached with the parent body, and after growing it will separate. Next is the budding in hydra I have shown. Just see the next diagram. Budding in hydra. Growing bud is forming on the parent body. At the top of the budding, see, gamule formation is there. In some freshwater sponges or spongilla, many buds are developed inside the parent body. Therefore, they are called, these internal buds are called gamules. Now come to this board. So, gamule formation, spongilla. Next is fragmentation. In this process, the body of the parent broke into many small fragments. Example, hydra. Next is sporulation. In amoeba, some adverse condition, they withdraw their pseudopodia and covered within an cyst formation, they are called encystation. When the favorable condition comes, the encysted amoeba divides and produce multiple amoeba. Next is spore formation. Spore formation, especially visible in fungi, found in fungi, asexual mode of reproduction, and they include zoospore, conidia, sporangiospore, oidea. So different types of spore formations are there. They are normally seen in fungi. First is zoospore. Zoospore, here motile spores bear flagella for their locomotion, and they develop into specialized structure sporangium, and they are seen in Chlamydomonas. Now look at this board, this diagram, the middle one. zoospore. Many small zoospores are formed inside the sporangium. This is the sporangium. Next is sporangiospore. Sporangiospore. They develop inside the sporangium, but they are non-motile. They don't have any flagellum. Example is sporangiospore. Sporangiospores are seen in rhizopus. See this one, rhizopus. Sporangiospores are forming but without any flagella. Here flagella is there, but here no flagella. So it is in rhizopus, it is in Chlamydomonas. Next is conidia. Conidia or conidiospore. These are also non-motile spores. They do not develop inside the sporangium. They do not develop inside the sporangium. The spores develop freely, known as conidiospore. Example, penicillium. That diagram, the last one, penicillium, conidia is formed. The non-motile spores do not develop inside the sporangium. Here inside the sporangium, here also inside the sporangium, but without any flagella. And there no flagella and not developed within the sporangiospore. So this is all over the mode of asexual reproduction. I have written in one side with examples and drawn the diagram in the another board. So you go through this video to understand the mode of asexual reproduction. Subscribe it so that you can see the next videos also. Okay, thank you.